Hey YouTube, welcome back to yet another video. My name is Patty and thank you so much for tuning in this video. On this particular day, my company was hosting the small to medium enterprise convention, and me as the marketing officer, I was the one on top in charge hosting this. So I was so busy, but the good thing about this video is our company videos, they actually came back, so I'll be incorporating them in this video as we move along. And yeah, that's it. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new, and don't forget to like, to comment, and to share this video. Enjoy.
You can have all this world, but give me Jesus. And when I am alone, oh, and when I am alone, oh, when I am alone, give me Jesus, give me Jesus, give me Jesus. You can have all this world, but give me Jesus. When I come to die, oh, and when I come to die, and when I come to die, give me Jesus, give me Jesus, give me Jesus. You can have all this world, you can have all this world, oh, you can have all this world, but give me Jesus.
As you can see, people were coming in, and as soon as people settled in at around 9, we started the event. And yeah, from there we had several speakers, from the CEO to the president of the association, the guest speaker from the Ministry of SMEs, which is called the Ministry of Women Affairs, Community and SMEs here in Zimbabwe, and also our first speaker. But then there is this lady who spoke, which I thought to myself, oh, my YouTube people have to hear this testimony of this lady from Malawi who started with nothing as a small as an informal sector business and build it to become this big organization. So enjoy this testimony.
Some feedback. No, you need to put in a lot of feedback, you need to do this, you need to do this. So I kept on improving using the information I was getting from the markets. Then one day we had a functional church. So other people from other churches visited our church, and we served the juices. And these people said, why can't we find it on the market so that we can buy? Because this juice is nice. So at that moment, that's when I said, okay, now we can sell this juice. So as you can see, next, okay. We started selling the juice. And that's how we started selling the juice, door by door. But we were also going into offices, door by door, selling the juices to people. And they liked the juice. The production was minor. And at that time, we could produce 100 liters. But to produce 100 liters, cool it and pack it, it could take us more than 3 or 4 days. Because everything was manual. We didn't know at what temperatures we needed to set the juices. We didn't know how much water to add. Everything else we were able to use by just observing. So the moment the juice starts boiling, we will say, it's ready, take it out. So even the bottling itself, even the packing itself, it was taking a lot of time. For us to pack at that time, we were using the foils, and those foils were coming from Zimbabwe. I had a supplier that was bringing those foils from Zimbabwe. My labels at that time were coming from Zimbabwe. Unfortunately, I didn't keep the labels. You would have seen the labels. At that time, the labels were pink in color. They were depicting something totally different from what we were bringing on the market. But we continued. And for us to do 100 liters, we didn't have a heater, we didn't have a screw top, we were doing it manually and we were using irons. So you cut the lid, the foil, you put it on top, you iron. That's how we seal. So for you to cut those 100, to seal and then to iron, that was taking you 3 days to do 100 bottles. But we continued. But with time now, we started learning how to do things better. And we started improving. The same process that we had started doing manual, we now started mechanizing it. When we were doing things informally, we didn't have much to worry about. You do your things, you take them on the market, you sell, you don't sell, you just count the money. And then you put it aside. If something goes bad, you take it, you throw it away. You had not got so many things to worry about. You were saying, I'm doing business. But we didn't know whether we are improving or not improving. As long as that day they bring you 10,000 Malawi, oh, you have sold 10,000. That's okay. And we kept on moving, but we were not advancing. So we started changing the strategy now. So at this stage, we were selling door-to-door. At this stage now, we have decided now to mechanize the process a bit. So during this period, what you are seeing is the same process. If you look at that first picture, the pots there, we were using charcoal, sometimes we were using firewood. But at that time, we had put now elements in there. We started using the electricity. The cooling itself, if you see those 2 drums, those were now the drums where we were doing the cooling process. But this part here where you're seeing, where there's something in metal, that's a cooler. But how were we cooling the juice? We have some pipes going below the lower tank. And the black thing you're seeing there, that's a fan. So the fan was the one that was now bringing cool air to cool the juice faster. So that we could now pack it and take it to the market. So at that time, we had now improved. We could now do about 400 liters a week, and we had started growing. So because we had started growing and people were seeing our products, they started following us. The first to follow us were the Malawi Revenue Authority. Now we are seeing your products on the market. What is happening? Where are you producing from? Where is your business registration? Because you need to now start paying the tax. Even if you don't pay tax, at least you need to be in the system. So they gave us all the advice, and at that time we decided now to register with the Malawi Revenue Authority. As we were producing and moving, we had another visitor that came on the door. Now this is Malawi Bureau of Standards. We are seeing your products on the market. But are you complying to the standards? We want to see where you are manufacturing from. I was still at that time manufacturing from my garage. So what they did was to come to my garage, inspected the garage, and I asked them, what is it that you want me to do to comply? So they told me the things that I was supposed to do at that time. Even though I was producing from the garage, I had now to work on the same garage to be able to meet what they wanted me to do. So we were able to renovate the garage. And And they came and inspected, and now they gave us the go-ahead that now we can produce because your product is fit for consumption. But every month they were coming to inspect, and every month they were finding a problem. Here is a problem, you need to rectify it. But what I learned at that time was that you shouldn't be afraid of them to come to inspect what you're doing. And you shouldn't be afraid to receive the feedback. Just use the feedback and move forward. So at this stage now, we have renovated and we have improved. And at that time, we were now selling, going to the retail outlets. A few retail outlets in the country. And because the business was doing a little bit better, we had bought the van so that we were able to sell. But now Bureau Standards came and said, you cannot use an open van because this is food. It will be contaminated. You need to get a covered van. So we said, yes, we comply, but not immediately. Then we moved. Now you can see those two containers. I was operating from the southern region of Malawi. Then I had to move to go to the central region of Malawi. The decision to move was not just to decide and say, okay, I want to move my business. But I want to stress the fact that the gentleman was sharing in terms of figures and facts. What I've learned over time is, as a business person, you really have to make decisions based on facts and figures. You don't just make a decision. So at that time, we had engaged a consultant who did the research for us in terms of where we were sourcing the raw material and how we were marketing our products. And the recommendation was that you need to move to the central place, which is Lilongwe, so that you can sell the home allowed. So we had to move. And when we were moving, we didn't have any place to operate from, but we had those two containers. So we moved the containers and converted the containers into a factory, according now to the standards by Malawi standards. So that when they were coming to inspect us, they could find the sink there. We made sure that the floor was done the way they needed. We made a provision within that as a place where the workers would come in and change. We made a provision for raw materials. We made a provision for finished products according to what we needed. So those two containers were serving as a factory when we had moved to go to Lilongwe, where our factory is. And at that time we had purchased a van so that we complied to the standards. Now, moving from where I was to here, they have talked about access to finance as a limitation. Yes, it is. Because at that time, even when you went to the bank to look for a commercial loan, you're looking for $3,000 so that you move forward. The bank could only give you $1,000. You are like, how do I now meet what I want? Because when I do the assessment on where I am now and from where I started from, I needed to be where I am maybe 5 years ago, not now. But you could not move because it was very difficult to access the support that you needed. The right support and at the right time. It only come at the wrong time. So most of the things that we did at that time was to use personal investments. And it was only a little bit. You could not invest as much as you needed. So from there, we started building. So from now, the containers, we now moved into a proper factory. Now, what I want to share with you is when I was in the southern region, it had taken almost 5 years for us to get the certification from the Malawi Bureau of Standards. Now, when we moved from Blanta, even though the product was accepted on the markets, when we moved from Blanta to Lilongwe, we started the process all over again. It also took another 5 years for us to be certified. But meanwhile, you are still allowed to produce and sell, and you're using a pre-certified certificate. not a story, and be a certificate. So we continued, and they kept on coming. And you can see that there is soil there. When they came one day, they came to me and said, you know, you're producing a food product. You cannot produce a food product when you have got a lot of dust. You need to make sure that you put concrete here. I looked at them and I was like, what? Where do I get the money to put the concrete? Where you're talking about? I told them, yes, I'll put the concrete, but not now, and not according to your needs. Now, you and me, we have to agree to work according to what I need and what I have. So let's agree this will be done, but not now. But when I have money, I'll do it. So we started construction in the Norway. So that's a factory. What you're seeing is the face at the back. That's where there was a small factory. Now we have also moved. Because we constructed that factory now, we now automated all the processes now. From the semi-automation now to this stage. Because at this brand. So when we are distributing in Malawi, we use our own vehicles. But we now store our products into the retail outlets. So we also invested into the distribution. So that's my team. We started with those 2 women. We are now employing 25 employees. We started our production with the 100 bottles, cannot call it liters. It was bottles. But now we can do about 75,000 bottles in a month. So in terms of liters, you can multiply by 500 rooms. So it's about 300 plus 1,000 liters that we are able to do at the moment. In terms of the supply of baobab, we are getting the baobab from the communities within Malawi, and at the moment we are working with about 1,400 collectors of baobab, whom we have trained, whom we have engaged, whom we have contracts. So every time we are maintaining our relationship with them, because they are very key in as far as the sustainability of the business is concerned. So we want to make sure that they also understand what is it that we are doing. So we continue to engage and train them so that they understand the whole value chain.
Yeah, something like that. They have to be creative. So, just a few words, advice.
In fact, the most advanced technologies you will find are for free. You want something just in a manner that meets present needs.
Okay, so how was the event?
I think the event was amazing that SAAA did for SMEs. What particularly really touched me was the aspect on zeroing in on women and the challenges that women face as SMEs and what can be done. Of particular importance was Jalice's testimony from Malawi, which showed that women across Africa are experiencing more or less the same challenges, and that also when we look at issues to do with policy, issues to do with various government interventions, it's the same story, just different days and different contexts. So this conversation helped us to understand each other across borders, to actually begin to hold hands and see what we can explore as solutions. So it was absolutely amazing. I loved it. I absolutely am grateful I was a part of it. And yeah, I look forward to the solutions and engaging more with government, especially around policies that make SMEs, especially led by women, to be led well and to make a difference to enhance women's human rights.
Okay, so what can you say? What do you want to see going forward? Like if you were given the power, which I believe you already have, but let's say you were given that power, what would you do as far as women and the SMEs is concerned?
I would like to see governments changing their policies. So governments have absolutely amazing policies, but these don't translate to effective and efficient implementation. So I would love to see the Zimbabwe Revenue Authority protecting women's rights on the street as SMEs, protecting their unpaid care and domestic work narratives, so that women are able to be amazing at home and amazing at work, so that their financial situations are transformed. So I want to see the policies implemented effectively and efficiently, so that women who are part of the SME narrative can have their lives transformed, but also work well. Issues to do with decent work are important when we look at women and SMEs. So how do we make that work? How do we also balance issues of women and SMEs and unpaid care and domestic work? Are there policies that can be enacted or enhanced so that women's lives are transformed? So that's what I'd love to see. And I know Zimbabwe can do it. We do have the capacity. We just need the political will to make sure that it's implemented and implemented effectively.
Wow, all right, thank you so much.
Okay.
So that is basically my experience at the SMEs and Informal Sector Convention. I was tired. Yeah, I was just getting home, and then I saw this beautiful side of Ishwa. I don't know what they are called in English. I'm sorry to my people that doesn't speak Shona, but I just saw Ishwa, and then there were a lot of birds. I think they were eating those Ishwa. They are insects but they are eaten here in Zimbabwe. So yeah, don't forget to comment, to like, and to subscribe to this video. Thank you so much. Join us on the next video. Bye bye.